Hello traders, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the weekly forecast. It has been long since we last made a video. I've been busy in the last 3 days. I've been up and down, so I've not gotten enough time to come on the chats here to make the video. However, when I came to the chat, I think it was yesterday in the evening, and checked, I found that most of the trades had played out, and the most recent was USD card. That buy on USD card from the demand zone that we had marked all the way, I think 2 weeks ago, it had played out very well. So if there are people who made some money out of it, that is good for you. We also have this trade that I marked here, but it was from a tested zone on Euro card. I think card the pairs with a quarters card with the card quote have been buying of recent, because you see this one bought up around 70 pips, 70 bought around 75 pips, but it was from a tested zone. So this is an area that I would highly not trade. However, it worked out perfectly. I would trade the first one, but the second one, since it was tested just as high, that it was not going to be as effective as the rest. So we are going to be going through a weekly analysis and see what is going to be happening in the next week. Remember, we do our small top-down analysis on the charts and then prepare for next week. So what we do after preparing, we just wait to execute the trade through the coming week. So we shall subscribe to the channel as usual, and then I will head straight to the charts for the analysis. So I'll give you only a few seconds, like 5. Subscribe. We are growing to 300 subscribers. So far we are 280. So guys, I can assure you we are growing at a very fast rate. So subscribe and be part of the journey, be part of this amazing trading community. So only 5 seconds to subscribe, and then we proceed. Okay, I hope you have subscribed. So let's go. So as usual, we are going to start with the pairs that are most traded. I have this is BTC USD. BTC USD bought very beautifully in the last week, and we had bought here. We bought from here to here, caught some 100 pips. Then it dropped to come and use this disorganized demand zone here. We use this disorganized demand zone here and bought massively to the upside. And what happened is, bought massively to the upside, came and broke this structure here, closed above. So as it was leaving, it left another zone here, which is a rally base rally. Guys, I'm taking you through the things such that you can know. And you remember what I told you last time with demand and supply. You just need to know the direction of the market, and then you'll be looking out for supply or demand zones. For example, this was a bullish market, so you'd always be looking out for supply or demand zone. So what happened here is after we got a 15-minute buy zone here, got out at up here, price dropped to use this disorganized demand zone. Why do I call it a disorganized demand zone? It is simply because it is not a stable demand zone that you look at the move away. Yes, it is a decent move away, but there are no imbalances. There are no those huge imbalances. It is almost like every time price was moving away, it was balancing it with the wicks. However, you look at this move away, price formed a base here and then created very good imbalances. Even here, price formed a base and then created good imbalances with 2-3 candles to the upside. So now this one was, I think, a 1-hour trade. If you came to the 1 hour, yes, it was for 1 hour. However, it has not quite left that area very well. So if I were you, I would be break even already on this trade. So this was 50 pips, and then it gave you a 1:1 1.5. So out 80 pips, if I were you, I would be removing my positions already, or I would have removed one and then stop losses above break even, because it is not looking good. We were supposed to come around here. It barely reached that area, now it is retracing. It might come and tap this one and go back to the upside. It is still a possibility. Why is it still a possibility? Because you see there is a base here and then a good move away. Now price is ranging, so it might sweep this small liquidity, then come tap this one and go up. But it is unlikely it might come to use the zone down here, so it is not an area I'm counting on. If I were, I'd advise that you remove your positions right now. Yes, move your positions right now, take those profits and settle for that, because if you come to the 4-hour, see what is happening, guys. We have a zone down here and another zone down here. Though since we are in an uptrend, I don't think we are going to be coming all the way down here. We can use this one. We can also try to just take out the stops and then go up. So British USD, since it is a live market, we shall need Sunday to end so that we can do a top-down analysis. But for now, that is what is happening. So come to my boy, gold. You remember, guys, what I told you about gold? There was a demand zone on the extreme end, and I told you if it is going to be respected, then gold is going to be buying. So it was respected, but it was respected with disrespect. How? Because price, yes, did not close below the demand zone. However, these wicks here would obviously take you out before price can proceed in the right direction. So we do a top-down analysis quickly. So gold, we still have this weekly demand zone around that area. Now that is the issue. The zone is too big. The weekly demand zone around that area. However, the daily demand zone has been respected well, just weeks, but it turned around and headed to the upside. So, do we see any supply demand zone available? No, we see this weekly only. Okay, so we drop down to the daily. What do we see? We see that price reacted in this supply zone, daily supply zone, perfectly, and then it dropped. However, looks like it is now going up. Do you have any other zone down? No. On the daily, no. So we proceed to the 4-hour. 4-hour, we have a zone down here. Very beautiful zone down here. This zone, remember, it is in the daily demand zone. 4-hour zone in the daily demand zone. So that is another confluence. And look at the move away, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 bullish 4-hour candles. 6 bullish 4-hour candles, breaking the structure here. Not only broke with a closure to the upside. So that means we have turned the trend from bearish to bullish. So how do we buy here with gold? We are looking for price to come back to this zone, tap us in, probably I'm going to put it around there, tap us in, and then we go to the upside. What is the first target? First target is going to be there around 700 pips. This is a 1:4.3. So that is how we're going to be trading gold. Waiting for a pullback into this area, and then we shall take price to the upside. So why are we buying there? There is a rally, base rally, very beautiful move away, leaving huge imbalances. So gold, we are looking for price action to come and drop in this area, and then we take it to the upside. That is a very good setup. We also have a QM structure around that area. This is low, high, lower low, higher high. So we come to the demand zone. We normally buy from the shoulder to the last week. However, since this is gold, so volatile with a lot of pips, we are going to buy from the demand zone that has been provided here. Good. That is for gold. When I go to the 1 hour, do we have any selling opportunities into the demand zone? There was a selling opportunity that was used already here, I think. It was supposed to be okay. I don't normally, if the candle is big, I don't normally want to mark it to the wick, But if you mark it to the week, then you'll be in already a profitable sell trade, which I think is going to sell up to this area here, the 4-hour demand zone, and then it starts buying. Because you see this price action here broke this low here with the closure down, and then came used this supply zone, and now it is dropping. Okay, so that is all for gold. We shall wait for pullback here, and then we take it to the upside. That is for gold. Good. So now we will proceed to US oil. US oil, we have a trade that we are waiting. Remember trade I called out on US oil that was for sale. It dropped massively. Good. So after dropping, there's a weekly demand zone down here. However, on the daily, there is a daily demand zone that is being respected. Daily demand zone that are being respected around this area here. That zone is being respected. Price tapped in, ranged for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, ranged for a full week, and then finally broke out. So now when it broke out, I think we might be in for another push to the upside before it can drop to the weekly demand zone and go up. It can just push from here and go up. Yes, it is possible. However, the ideal scenario I would want is to see price drop down here, test this area, and then it goes to the upside. So when we come to the 4-hour, this is now where things are looking good, because you see this ranging was for a full week. Now we broke out of the range with 1, 2, 3 candles, broke out of the range, and now we are coming back to this area. This is a 1-hour zone, the one that I marked, and on the 1 hour it is so beautiful. Look at it, guys. Look at the displacement. 1, 2, 3 to the upside, breaking this whole consolidation here, even taking out this supply zone. Yeah, it was taken out, breaking this whole consolidation, taking out the other supply zone. So these are one of those trades that I would want to trade. So look at the basing, very beautiful. Look at the move away, good. So this one we shall target a 1:3 maximum. 1:3. We end there. So we expect price to come, tap this area, and go up going into the next week. So this is what we should be looking for going into the next week. Price come, tap, pick our orders, and then go up. However, on the 1 hour, there is something very significant. You see this equals here, down here. They mean that there is liquidity to be swept down there. So you must be, when you're entering this trade, your risk shouldn't be big. You should risk only 1% of your account. Your risk shouldn't be big, because we can easily see a blow. This can be an inducement. We blow up here, drop down, and then use the zone use this weekly zone down here. However, that is unlikely. I think we're going to first buy, and then we can later drop down. Okay, so now that is US oil. Let's proceed to Euro USD. Euro USD top down analysis. There's a trade we missed on Euro USD. We took the one for GBP USD, we stopped out, but the one for Euro USD played out well. So Euro USD is on the weekly supply zone. Euro USD is on the weekly supply zone. So do we have any demand zone down? Yes, we have a beautiful demand zone on the weekly. You see this support, this is resistance, give us a demand zone, and then it is broken, so it will be used as support, or it can be used as support since it has been broken on the weekly. And there is a demand zone there, this one here. There's a demand zone weekly here. However, we have this wick that is stretching down, making the zone so big. So what we do, since this is a weekly zone, we are in an uptrend, support resistance was broken, it turns into support. So this is a very good zone. This is a very good zone, one that we would buy from any day. However, since it is a weekly zone, it is now good to buy from it with confirmations. Only with confirmations. So we drop down to the daily. The daily, we are in the daily supply zone. And now this is our zone that we talked about. You see, it is very, very big. So we can only buy from here with confirmations. So last week there was a good trend on the 4-hour for Euro USD, the one I told you about, guys. Price came, respected the area very well, the demand area, then went up. This is how many pips? 53, 1 is to, that is 1 is to 1.6. So by now your stop should be above break even. So what are we looking at? We are looking at do we have a trend line there? Yeah, but not that one that I would consider. This one is too steep, too close to price action, so it is not one that I would take so serious. However, since it is 4-hour, I can consider it, but I would like this supply zone to be taken out, even the trend line to be taken out, such that I can be looking for sales that will bring me to this demand zone and then look for confirmations to buy. I hope we are together, guys, up to that period. Euro USD, we are in the weekly supply zone. So this weekly supply zone is already causing a reaction. So now what I would want to see is very simple. I would want to see price break this area here, this for our demand zone. After breaking this for our demand zone, I'll then use, because it would have broken the trend line also, so it will be like a break and retest of the trend line, and then we drop. So I would be looking for a supply zone around here, use for that to sell into this daily demand zone, so that weekly demand zone, so that we can be buying back and probably take out this supply zone. Are we together up to that area? Yes. So this is in the weekly, the supply zone, DXY is on the weekly demand zone. So DXY, we shall be expecting a little buys. For the Euro USD, we shall be expecting a little sells. Good. So that is Euro USD. We don't have any trade as for now. However, we shall be waiting for a break of this trend line, and on the retest, if it is a supply zone, we shall be selling downwards on Euro USD. So I'm giving you guys the whole analysis and then the precise entries, reasons for entries. I know you've been on some pages whereby they tell you top down analysis, and then on the 4-hour, 1 hour you enter, but they don't tell you how to enter and where you're going to enter, from where to put your stop losses. Me, I'm giving you all the details, so you have more reasons to stay around. So that is Euro USD. So we shall go to GBP USD. GBP USD, I'm sure this is the trade that we lost. We didn't lose because we were wrong, we lost because there was a stop hunt that happened. Very clear support and resistance area, and also a demand zone. So what did price do? Price came, took us out, and then went to the other direction. Is there a way we could avoid this loss? No. The only way we could avoid it is if we did not attempt to take the trade. Okay, so now top down analysis for this, we have guys, GBPUSD is confusing. I'm not going to lie to you on this. We have this zone that was respected, price went up, and then we have another zone here. So if price is coming, I don't think it is going to blow through this zone and buy from down. So GBPUSD, we shall need confirmation on the 15 minutes time frame in this area in order for us to buy. So let's just pick in on it. However, if we can come all the way up to here, well and good, but it's not something I should encourage you to be on. So we have USD JPY. USD JPY weekly time frame. What do we have here? On weekly, there is nothing more serious. We still look like we are targeting this area here. So if you come to the daily, there's nothing you can see. We use the demand zone here perfectly, and price has been going up. However, when you come to the 4-hour, there are going to be short-term buy trades on the 4-hour. You see, we have been dropping down, lower low, lower high, lower low, then lower high, higher low, higher high, higher low. This is looking like a higher low, but I know the higher low could become and maybe manifest from here before we can go up. Why is it that? Because we broke this high here, this lower high here, with huge bullish momentum and closed above. So I'm looking for 1-hour buys. Look at this move away, guys. Look at this displacement. These are one of the zones that I would like to buy from. And why I said that this is a short 1-hour trade that we shall be looking at next week. Look at this. We had a trend line that was coming all the way from up, was taken out. Even when you drew another one from here, which is a fake one, I think from here, yes, this one is a good one. It was taken out. We had a supply zone here, was taken out, but this one candle, guys, one candle. So that means this is a beautiful zone to buy from. And people who trade chart patterns, what does this look like to you? This is a shoulder ahead, and then we break to the upside, leaving here another shoulder. So we're coming to test the shoulder. That is how it is looking like. People who trade chart patterns, you got a line chart. This is a shoulder. I think if you go to the 4-hour, it might even more clear. Okay, yes, 4-hour is more clear. So go to line chart. This is like this is shoulder, head, and then we leave here demand zone, and then we go up breaking this shoulder, so leaving another shoulder here. So what is happening is I see something like this. Where is it? I see something like this, and the first target should be here. So we complete the head and shoulder. If I got a line chart, now the head and shoulder will be complete. You see it? This is shoulder, head, break to this neckline, then come to the shoulder. So this is likely to be another shoulder. And the good thing is there is a demand zone there. So you see, that is a very good inverted head and shoulder to the upside. So I'll just delete this and go to the 1-hour. See that huge displacement. Making it a very good zone for buys. So how do we take advantage of this coming into next week? Put there your stop loss is 25 pips or 26 pips below, and then target this high, which is 123 pips. Very good risk to reward, guys. Very good risk to reward. I will take this risk to reward any day, anytime. If I go to the 45 minutes, is there anything that looks like what we know? No, we still have the displacement, which is good, and there's a QM, but it is not one that I would take. 30 minutes, still have the displacement, guys. Still have the displacement. It is good sweep, and we are dropping down here. Then lastly 15 minutes. 15 minutes, it is even more beautiful, guys. Hey, look at that buying momentum here, guys, from here to the upside. So USDJPY, all I can tell you is next week we are buying because price is coming on to test another shoulder here, and then we are buying to the upside. That is a 1:2, almost 5. Good. So that is USDJPY. Okay, the measures, we are almost done. This is now USD CAD. USD CAD, do you remember this demand zone? I have been telling you this demand zone here. This is the one I've been telling you. So price came, respected it the first time, went up, but look at the bearish momentum into the zone. It was scary, but if you had put your stop losses like we always do, you'd still be on profits right now. However, what is hurting me is excuse me, what is hurting me is when price broke this low here, we knew that price was coming down to this zone. However, we did not take the trade. Why? Because of fear. We knew where price was going, but we fear to take the trade. Look at the break here. Break 1, 2, 3. 3 lost the downside. Price again went up. This was the supply zone to sell from. However, there was a stop hunt. I think there was some news kinda. Price came, went through our zone, did not respect it whatsoever. Even the one up here was not respected. Took all the stop losses and then dropped down. So now here, that is on the closure of this green candle, that is where you're entering, and then putting your stop losses above that wick. This is the good of having a big account. When you have a big account, you know this is a stop hand and you know price is probably not going back here. So now you enter, your risk to reward is going to not going to be good, but you know you're going to get good pips out of it. You enter target down here, that is 100. So you'd be risking 600 pips, $600 to make 1,200. That is almost a 1:2. But you couldn't do that. Why? Because you have a small account. So if you had to lose your money, sorry for you. So price rotated around until when it hit your target. So how are we taking advantage of this? Just like on USDJPY, when you come to the 1 hour, we have a demand zone here. 1 hour demand zone in the 4 hour demand zone. So this is also looking like a head and shoulder. Low, high, lower, low. Then higher high. So we are waiting for price to come here and take us up. However, it is not that zone that you're confident with. Yes, it is good, but not that confident. So this one was tested, so probably price is not coming down here. So this is the most probable zone, price to test and go. Very good move away. So this is a low, high, lower, low, QM. Price goes up, and now we wait for price to come back and we buy from that area. So guys, this is it. You make your analysis. I think the stop losses should be down here, but you still have another weekly zone down there. So now your target should be the next supply zone, which is this area here. That is 1:3. That should be your target, the next supply zone. And guys, I think we can come. This would be like a shoulder, and then this is a head. You can come and take out this area a little bit, and then come back to the demand zone that will be here. We can buy to the upside. However, the DXY is in the demand zone, so we are expecting these pairs to be buying. Expecting them to be buying for, especially if you can come and take out this zone here. Okay, so we go to USDCHF. USDCHF, I don't have anything significant on it. So so far we are still there. What I was expecting is 1 hour break of the trend line, and then we can look for buys. Did the trend line break? Yes. Trend line broke, and now looks like the demand zone that is being used, because trend line broke from here but did not take out the supply zone, so they're using this demand. No. USDCHF, we shall wait. Keep on waiting. Even at the 4 hour, the trend line broke, and there is a demand zone down, which will look as a retest on the trend line. Beautiful demand zone which took this supply zone. So guys, don't you think we are buying on USD CHF? Stop loss should be here, 50 pips below this low, and then our target should be the next. So USD CHF are also expecting buys. However, low area looks like it was tested, but I see it was not tested. It was not tested, guys. Anyway, I don't know, but let's hope it comes and taps in before it can go to the upside. So that is all the weekly analysis and the trades I'm looking up to. So guys, subscribe to the channel if you have learned something from the video. Kindly like the video for the algorithm. Be monitoring those trades I've given you. However, for more aggressive traders, you can wait for this high to be taken out, and then we shall confirm totally that we have back in an uptrend. And then the demand zone that will be responsible for taking out this high is the one that you will use for buys to the upside. However, I've suggested a few zones. I think you have like 5 trades to look out for coming into the next week that I've given you, so we shall be monitoring those trades concurrently. Okay guys, that is all for today. If you like the video, kindly subscribe to the channel. Bye.